anticipated. I see the hand already up in terms of questions. I see 5 hands up already. Naomi, over to you. And PM has to leave. And so I do have a hard stop. So you're going to have to decide who's going to ask the questions. I can maybe take 2 or 3.
3.
Go ahead.
Morning, Prime Minister. Again, Reuters asking a couple of questions. The full pledge is 170 JDF, they say, and 30 JCF, wondering why only 24 personnel will be deployed. Can you also give when we will have that deployment exactly of the 24? Is it specific, like today, or is it another day? And then also, under whose management are the Jamaican troops going to be functioning? And what will be the main role of the Jamaican troops in Haiti?
Thank you for that question. I will invite CDS to give those details, including when the deployment will take place. But just to be clear, as I said in my presentation, this is a build-up to our commitment. None of the countries that have made commitments have deployed all at once. It's not practical. It's not possible. Preparations have to be made in the host country, and so as those preparations are made, then and the possibility of scaling up happens, then we will, on our side, fulfill all our commitments. So this is a start to what we intend to do, and as the situation in Haiti is prepared for our presence, we will deploy.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Good morning to everyone. In respect of when we will deploy, we expect to deploy on Thursday the 12th. That is in 2 days' time. Why 24 and what are we going to do? We have been preparing for this deployment for over a year. Once we got the indication that Jamaica was prepared to participate. And so it takes a lot of planning. We're at the stage now, we've done our due diligence, and we're at the stage now that we can deploy the persons that we have committed to support the command element of the MSS as the mission rolls out, as the Prime Minister has indicated. So the Jamaican contingent will be under the command of local Colonel Kevron Henry. He is the designated deputy commander of the overall mission. We're also ensuring that within the planning and operations of the headquarters that the Jamaican contingent will occupy key appointments to ensure that we bring our expertise and bring our interest in the mission to the forefront in the headquarters. What was your other question? Did I miss any?
So given the time, we'll just do one CDS or one of the others that was a follow-up. So CDS, just the first.
What will they be doing? They will be, so their main role of this particular advanced small team is to support the command structure of the headquarters and the planning for follow-on deployment and operations. In respect of your other question, I am not in a position to answer that.
Thank you, CDS. Let's go to
Just to be very, so that everybody understands, the deployment of security personnel in this multinational mission requires extensive planning. And we can't just merely send troops without having, for example, as was pointed out, the command structure in place, the facilities to host. So what you're seeing now is the build-out towards that. So we want a very successful operation, and the operation should have no shortcomings because there was any failure to plan.
Thank you, sir. Kalisha?
That's it.
Kalisha Williams, Television Jamaica. Mr. Holness, the PNP has been demanding that Parliament be convened to table the IC report. What is your response to that? And also, how concerned are you about the documents being leaked days after it was sent to key stakeholders in the Parliament? Thank you.
My response is that as soon as it is possible, as soon as Parliament is convened, the date set for the convening of Parliament was the 17th. So as soon as that date is there, I'm certain the report will be tabled, and I'm eagerly looking forward to it being tabled. I'm concerned about leaks, very much so. Concerned to the point where members of the opposition could say with definitive certainty when the report was going to be tabled and what was the content of the report. I am very concerned. And that was even before the report reached Parliament.
Our final question, sir. Edmund?
Next question.
Edmund Campbell, Cleaner Company. Prime Minister, are you, as a leader of CARICOM, are you disappointed with the pace with which the multinational forces that have been deployed since, I think, June, are making making inroads in terms of displacing the gangs in Haiti, particularly in Port-au-Prince? I believe they're about 80%, if I'm not mistaken, of the area is still controlled by the gangs. Are you disappointed that the multinational forces have not been able to make a greater impact? And do you believe that the intervention with our deployment could possibly make any difference?
I laid out in my presentation the steps that we have gone through to get to this point. I didn't outline all the steps, but the critical ones to get to this point. It can be a long and extended process. As to whether or not I am disappointed, my response to that is I understand all the moving parts that have to be properly aligned for the mission to be successful. The multinational security support mission is not the only line of effort for the resolution of the problems in Haiti. That is just one line of effort. There are important and significant diplomatic effort being made and stakeholder effort being made. And I think at this point we should commend the people of Haiti, their civil society and their church and all the other political figures involved who have managed to come to some kind of understanding as to the way forward. So there are many processes that are ongoing. I think it would not be wise to prepare the region to believe that the multinational security mission would be the only or final solution to the problem. They are there to support, and we build up in a very structured way to ensure that all elements of the plan for Haiti work together in the most peaceful way, with the least loss of life, and with the greatest impact for a long-term, enduring solution. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. We do have the ministers with us. I can maybe take 2 more questions. We have 3 minutes left. If anyone has any questions for the ministers, there's a lot going on, as you would have heard throughout the discussions this morning. The government is working really hard, working hard in the burial response, because that's our priority. Ensuring everybody is back up. Last week we did education and spoke to our schools and those being back. And we also this morning spoke to the deployment of our troops to Haiti. There's a lot of other things to discuss from Cabinet. We went until very late last night, but we will take those matters next week, and I'll give an update at the start of our next post-Cabinet press briefing. I saw one hand up. Okay.
Good morning, Sashana Small from the Gleaner. My question is for Minister Charles. I wanted to find out from him, what is the estimated cost for the relief the government is funding now? Burial relief.
Sure.
The allocation from the government is $1 billion. There's an additional $300 million to that, making it $1.3 billion for the entire relief program.
And just to note, even yesterday, Minister Charles was advocating for more funds, again, to Minister Clark, emphasizing that everybody who needs to be helped should be helped, and that's a priority. And I think there is one last question before we break.
Prior to burial, I think a deployment, the government, in fact, had spent $4 million for each constituency, if I'm not mistaken, $4 or $5 million for each member of parliament to carry out work in their respective constituencies. And after that, I think a $5 million per constituency was announced also. Now, with the REACH program taking effect soon, I suspect, with $3 billion to be divided among the constituencies. I'm just trying to appreciate and understand if, first of all, the first sums that were spent or were supposed to be earmarked for the constituencies, if those have already been spent, and if in fact it will be somewhere in the region of $47.6 billion that will be additional sums that will be allocated to the various constituencies for work under the REACH program.
All right, under REACH, you would have heard the announcement last week for REACH, and that is about fixing a lot of the roads across the country. And everybody who drives on the road knows that, you know, we had issues before. We've been having issues for decades with our roads. But we know that with Beryl, that got worse. And so that allocation in relation to REACH is to do patching all across the country. So that's more patching work. And that is the 3.5 that you would have heard about, that was announced last week. There were other allocations given to members of parliament before, as you said, and after. And so when we look at the entire Beryl relief, and the spend, we actually have to look at many different areas also, because there is the education budget that would have been put in place. There's also the support to our farmers also that would have been a part of that relief effort. And I know at another post-cabinet, I also spoke to allocations that would have been given to the Ministry of Health in order to do the vector control, and especially with all of the huge mosquitoes that we've been seeing. So there are many different elements to the relief. I don't have the full numbers that I can give you with every single entity, because even just yesterday, we would have seen submissions from other areas saying we need some support in order to do Beryl. But what I can do is for next week's post-cabinet, I can put together how much the government has done. And I think this is also something to celebrate as a country, because we've had a major hurricane pass through, yes, on the south, but many communities were affected. And for us to be able to do all of these relief efforts out of our funds, not through a loan, is absolutely fantastic. And it is something we've not been able to say before. And so I think we should all celebrate as Jamaicans that we've been able to do this and to find these allocations, even though the ministers do say we need some more, and we wish we had more. But it is still a really great testament to the hard work of a lot of people that we're at this point today. And so we will end with that and end with Minister Charles's note on the number of individuals who are who have been affected by Beryl and who are getting that support, and reminding you, if you need assistance, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is here to assist you. And so I will see you again next week. Next week, Wednesday, will be our post-cabinet press briefing.
Loyal viewers and subscribers, honorable people, give thanks for your support to the AVI-NUE. Know that I appreciate you sincerely. New viewers, welcome on board. Know that your presence is appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. United we win.